Hi, my name is Sophia Emmanuel, and today we're wrapping up our fourth case study with NeoGenesis, the NeoGenesis team, and I'll be discussing the NeoGenesis hair thickening serum with my guest, Steve. How are you today, Steve?
I'm doing good, Sophia. I'm really excited about what we get to show everybody. You've done a tremendous job with your insights that you've given to these clients and the protocols you've put them on, and you've kept them motivated as they've gone through this experience. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you got.
Yes, so thank you for that. Today we're going to show the results for 6 months into the case study, so 6 months into using the NeoGenesis hair thickening serum, as well as some other treatments I've recommended in the hair loss protocols. So we're going to recap from our first video, just discussing some of the issues that these three clients had and what we recommended or what I recommended for them, as well as how the NeoGenesis hair thickening serum has been working for them so far. What do you say about that?
That's awesome. Yeah, you want to start with the first case study then?
Yes, let's go to the first case study.
Okay.
Yes, so this is our first case study, or case study number one, and this client was dealing with some traction alopecia. So basically, traction alopecia is basically when you pull the follicle or add too much tension to the hair follicle, you begin to experience hair loss. Now, this can happen in the back of the head as well as the sides. If you guys have any slides of the sides of her scalp, yes. So if you can see, the size of the scalp is of particular concern with traction alopecia, and if you continue to wear these styles that pull over time, it can lead to what we're dealing with now, or what she has right now, which is traction alopecia. So you can see where the client started from day zero all the way up to 6 months. She's gotten really good results using the hair thickening serum. And in addition to her using the NeoGenesis hair thickening serum, she is using the Viviscal hair vitamins, as well as a shampoo and conditioner that is meant for thickening the hair follicles or thickening the hair shaft, giving more volume to the hair shaft as well. So with those three things combined, or those four things combined, she has been able to see some results. So even if you look at the front of her scalp, you can kind of see from day zero, even where she is from today, 6 months later, she has made a lot of progress, and she is very happy with the results so far. And do you have any questions about traction alopecia or about her results so far?
Yeah, I'd love to hear you shared when she started with you where she was psychologically and emotionally, because I know hair loss is a
Hmm.
significant issue for women and men.
Right.
Where was she emotionally when we got started
Oh,
with her, and where is she today?
yes. Today, well, emotionally, she was not as bad as some of the. Well, not, I shouldn't say bad. She didn't feel as terrible about it. It wasn't stressing her out emotionally, but I would say that it was just making her not want to wear her own hair, right? So she was uncomfortable wearing her own hair because she felt like it was just too thin. And because of that, she will wear braids, which was actually not helping the process. So even though she wasn't really stressed out about it, she didn't really like how she looked without her hair, without added hair. So this has allowed her to feel more comfortable or more confident wearing her own hair, which is definitely a plus in the sense that she's actually not adding any more tension in that area as much. She still wears braids, but she's able to space them out more, and she just feels more confident when she does wear her own hair out, knowing that it's fuller in those areas in question. So yes, that's one thing that it has been able to help her with, just being able to be more comfortable wearing her own hair and not having to cover it up or camouflage it with like braids or extensions.
Good point. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The psychological profile, you've mentioned that before, is
Yes.
so important. And I know we were recently at a dermatology conference,
Right.
and people that came by our booth, the dermatologists themselves, were saying that the number one aging concern for their patients is
Mhm.
not so much the look of their skin, but the look of their hair.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's a higher priority than their skin. So, I mean, hair You've said it. They've
Hair
said it.
loss. Yes,
Hair is
it really
huge in
does take a
people's
toll on
lives.
people's emotional, well-being. Yes, to the point where sometimes they don't want to socialize or they'll stay in the house, and they're just basically suffering in silence, feeling that no one wants to listen. No one. Well, that hair loss is not important enough by some doctors. Some doctors don't take it as serious when women or men, suggest that they may have a problem with their hair. It's often overlooked unless it's like severely, falling, or they can severely see bald spots. But a lot of times, they're not often heard by doctors when they complain about hair loss. So being able to just listen sometimes and find a solution for them really helps them feel better as well emotionally.
And you trigger for me, Sophia, a question for you that I know you've probably at least considered it before, but how visible is the profession of being a trichologist? I really do people know what a trichologist does and how a
Yeah.
trichologist can help them? How can you help people as a trichologist? What was the educational background you went through, and
Mhm.
what enables you to help people with this hair loss situation?
Well, the idea or even the education around trichology is growing, so more people are aware of what a trichologist does. Specifically, women who are looking for someone specifically to deal with hair and scalp disorders. Because again, when they go to a dermatologist or a doctor, unless that dermatologist specifically specializes in hair loss or maybe has some kind of like educational background around it, they're often overlooked, or it's often ignored. So people will look up like scalp specialist. They may not know what a trichologist is, they may not know the word, but they'll look up scalp specialist or hair specialist, and that's how they'll be able to find trichologists like myself. But my educational background stems from the IAT, the International Association of Trichologists, where basically I had to undergo training for about 18 months, and I was able to learn the theoretical parts of trichology as well as practical, like hands-on, to be able to help people deal with different types of hair loss disorders. So that includes hair loss, scalp disorders like dandruff, psoriasis, seborrheic dermatitis, and also too how health plays a special role in these types of conditions, because oftentimes your health is a major component in why your hair is falling. Not all the time, but most of the time it
Now, when
is.
you say health, go
And
into
there are
that a
times.
little bit.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
sorry. I believe you asked what would be some of those problems.
Yeah, when you say health, is it more of a physical health? Is it psychological health? Is it both? The two are frequently
It can be
intertwined,
both.
right?
It could be stress related. Yes, it could be stress related. So stress could be more like your health. So it could be like, let's say, it can be nutritional deficiencies, right? It could be hormonal changes. It can be stress where you're not eating right. So you're not eating certain types of foods. It could be your diet. It could be nutrition. It can be several different reasons why someone's hair can fall. And our job is to find out why, what that component, what that thing is, and sometimes it could be multiple reasons why your hair is falling, and then offer you solutions to that problem or point you to the right specialist, the right doctor who can help you with that as well. And yes, that's what trichologists do. So we're like hair doctors, like hair detectives, I should say, hair detectives, looking for the cause and trying to, help you pinpoint the cause so that we can help you find the solution.
Love it. Love it. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's look at case
Mhm.
study number two.
So
This
yes,
is great.
yes. So we'll go to case study number 2. All right. So with case study number 2, this client is dealing with a different type of hair loss. It's called alopecia areata. So if we go back to that first slide, I can talk a little bit more about that. So on the first slide, this client also, I should note, has 2 different types of hair loss that she's dealing with. The first type is the part in the back of the scalp, and this is called alopecia areata, but the pattern is called alopecia ophiosis. So now with this, notice like there's like a band of hair loss that she's dealing with in the back of her head and the nape of her head. And it actually goes all the way up to her ears, right? And it's like a little band of hair loss. Now she does have hair follicles there, but for some reason, those hair follicles are kind of like dormant. They're not growing hair, but the follicles are open. They are available to grow hair, but for some reason, they're just sluggish. They're just sleeping. So we need to find a way to wake those follicles up and get that hair to grow back. So if you could see in day 60, after using the NeoGenesis hair thickening serum and following some of the other suggestions in my protocol, she was able to get really nice growth at day 60. Also, 6 months in, she still has great results. She has beautiful results there, but we want to note that she did go away on vacation for a month. So some of that growth did slow down, it did decline, because during that time, she was not using her protocol. She was not with me to get treatment for a month. So that did make some of her growth slow down a bit, but she still had no shedding during that time, which was also a plus. So this is another example of why it's very important. I tell patients or clients all the time that when you're dealing with hair loss, whatever protocol you're using, you need to be consistent with it, because if you stop or if you slow down that treatment protocol that you're using, you will see a steady slowness with the hair growing back as well. And this is living proof of that. But even with her stop using the product for 30 days, she was still able to maintain most of that growth from where she started. So she's still in a great place.
Wonderful.
Now these are some scope photos of her hair. So again, just showing you the difference from day 0 to day 60 all the way to 6 months, and it's been consistent growth all along the way. And if you notice in day 0 from the scope photos, you can kind of see how thin and fine those hair follicles are. I mean, those hair strands are. If you look at day 60 and then you look at 6 months from there, you can see they're a lot thicker, they're a lot darker in the color, which is also a great sign as well. And this is in the back of her head, in that same area. Now she had amazing results with in the hairline area of her scalp from day 0 all the way up to 6 months. It's a totally different head. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yes. Now, if you look at this picture, is right below the crown of her head. She had some thinning going on in that area. And again, from day 0 all the way up to 6 months, even at 60 days, you can see very great improvement. Even in the color of the hair, if you notice, there's darker strands of hair there. Even if you look at the density, the texture of the hair is fuller, it's thicker in those areas. So definitely, she has been seeing great results, and she's very happy with the progress so far. Now, and this is her last slide, I believe. And in the front, she was dealing with what's called androgenetic alopecia. So that causes that thinning or that receding hairline in the front. And if you notice from day 0 all the way up to 6 months, again, she's just had like really amazing results. Even her hair color has gotten darker in those areas again, which is a great sign of that kind of like that premature gray kind of settling down and going away. Now she has more darker color strands, more healthier hair strands growing in as well.
So that new growth is coming back in her normal, her natural color, her darker color.
Yes.
So that's not, there's no hair coloring going on that side.
No, she doesn't color her hair, and she does not use any hair fibers. That's all her own natural hair color growing in right there.
That's fantastic.
And that's amazing. That's amazing. Yes.
Good for her. And how's she feeling about her overall progress?
Oh, she feels amazing about it. And you'll definitely be able to hear some feedback about her progress and how she feels about it later on in this video.
Awesome.
Yes. Yeah. So any other questions that I can answer that we should tie up before we get to case study number 3?
I think it's good. Well, you mentioned that we've got some actual recordings of them being able to. Yeah, it'd be great. We could either go through the 3 case studies and loop back around on the recordings, or we can do the recording at case study number 2 now. What do you want to do?
I think we should go to the final case study number 3, and then we can listen to all the testimonials towards the end.
Awesome. Okay, good.
Okay, so now this is case study 3, and this particular client was also dealing with the androgenetic alopecia. And she has 2 types of hair loss, androgenetic alopecia, and she's also dealing with telogen effluvium, two different types of hair loss. The androgenetic alopecia, again, causes that recession along the hairline. And what happens is that over time, your healthier strands, they're called terminal hairs, they start to thin, they start to shrink, and you grow hairs that are called vellus hairs. Those are those thin fine peach fuzz strands of hair, right? And over time, you just see your scalp. You'll notice your scalp. Sometimes if you have a bang, your bang will be very thin, very fine. I mean, your hair just grows very slow. It doesn't grow as full or as thick as it used to, right? Now, with the telogen effluvium, what takes place is that you'll have a lot of shedding. And now the telogen effluvium is more related to some type of imbalance in the body. So for this particular client, that imbalance had to do with she was severely anemic and she was losing a lot of hair for that reason, right? So once that anemia was corrected, or once her doctor found the right dosage of iron supplements for her to take, her shedding slowed down, right? So that particular type of hair loss has to be corrected once the imbalance is corrected. If the imbalance is not corrected, the hair is going to still continue to shed. And if you have different types of hair loss on your head, sometimes telogen effluvium can make those other hair loss worse, right? So it's very important to address the hair loss as soon as you see it, and to find out if you have multiple types of hair loss, because if you have more than one, definitely that can be detrimental to your scalp, and you will start to notice more skin over time, more scalp over time. So we can go to her next slide. Now, if you can see, again, this is the androgenetic alopecia. Again, you can kind of see it from day 0. And definitely, again, she got really great results from day 0 all the way up to 60 days. We started to notice a difference within the 2 months. She even noticed that her hair was shedding less, which was great because she had so much hair shedding during that time. And then right at 6 months, she also noticed some more improvement in that area as well. And I should note with androgenetic alopecia is that there's also like a genetic component to this type of hair loss as well. So definitely, if you notice that one of your parents or both of your parents or even siblings, aunts or uncles have this condition, it's more likely that you can have it as well. So also keep that in mind, that sometimes there is a genetic component to this as well. And again, even this side of her head, she got really great results at 6 months, starting from day 0 all the way up to 6 months. So she's very happy with her results so far.
Fantastic.
Yes, and this is the front of her scalp. As I mentioned before, the androgenetic alopecia can affect the front part of your scalp. So this is the reason why we're using the NeoGenesis hair thickening serum. She's also using some DHT blockers. Now, the DHT blockers help to prevent some of that shrinkage of the hair follicle, to keep the hair follicle growing those fuller strands so that the hairs don't grow in velvet. So that's the whole point of the DHT blocker, to prevent those terminal hairs from turning into vellus hair. So we're treating it orally as well as topically. And this basically is a great example of what your scalp looks like when it's dry and when it's itchy. She was dealing with some inflammation of her scalp. She had some dandruff. And you can actually see the results from day 0 up to 6 months, where the scalp looks a lot clearer. Even at day 60, you can see a lot cleaner scalp. And she even noticed herself that her scalp in the center was less itchy. It wasn't as sensitive. She had less pain while using the serum as well. So that was another bonus that we learned using the NeoGenesis product, is that it actually was helping to reduce some of that inflammation that she was getting, and some of that pain actually went away with her using this serum on her scalp. So that was also great as well. And again, this is another image of the NeoGenesis working to heal some of that skin, clearing some of that skin up, some of that dryness up, some of that inflammation. You can see from day 0 all the way up to 6 months, a lot clearer scalp. Even at day 60, you could kind of see the difference in all 3 images of the scalp. At 6 months, it's a completely cleared up or cleaner scalp, clearer scalp, I should say, not cleaner, but clearer scalp. Is that easy for you to see, or is that just something I can see because I have the eye?
I love it. No, you can see that flakiness on day
Yes. Can
0.
you see it?
And you can see
Yeah.
the inflammation. I
Even
mean,
on the
there's a
first
lot of
image
inflammation there.
around here, yeah, you can kind of see that. Yes, exactly. You can see how there's some white flakes around the hair follicle. And then as we move on, we see less of that around her hair follicle. And at 6 months, there's none. So that's basically a great sign for her as well. And she's
So
been able to
healthy
feel
skin in
that.
addition to healthy hair.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Mm-hmm. So it's
awesome.
clearing up some of the signs of inflammation. Some of those signs are like flaking, itching, and then even how it feels. That's a symptom, right? So some of the symptoms are like it's not sensitive anymore. It's not itching. It's not red. So definitely we've been able to help reduce inflammation, which is another major component with hair loss. If you don't address the inflammation, unfortunately, the hair is going to continue to fall. So it's really important to reduce inflammation as much as possible with hair loss. And that's for any type of hair loss. There's some level of inflammation present in the hair follicle. So reducing it as much as possible is beneficial. I
Well,
hope
it's
that makes
impressive.
sense. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does. And it's
Yeah.
impressive that you're observing both the hair follicle, but also the surrounding skin
Yeah.
tissue,
Yes, the skin.
and
Mm-hmm. How
you're
it's responding.
recognizing the value of helping with reducing that inflammation in general,
Yes.
and offsetting whatever was going on that caused the inflammation to
Yes.
begin with by
Right.
restoring the follicle and the surrounding
Yes,
tissue, it
and
looks
healing
like.
the tissue. Yeah, and because so many things cause inflammation, right? So we don't know for sure. It could be something that we eat. It could be how we feel. It could be our moods. Different things affect inflammation. So it's just important to use a product like this to kind of like counteract that or prevent that inflammation, because you really don't know what's triggering it. It could be different things for different people. So having a product like this can be helpful for that as well, for just preventing inflammation as well. So you can also use this as a preventative measure as well if you have that kind of like inflammatory condition where sometimes you may feel some itching, some pain. This can definitely help for people who have, like, let's say psoriasis or seborrheic dermatitis. It can definitely help with that as well, to help them prevent hair loss, because if they continue to scratch that scalp constantly, they can affect their hair follicles that way. So this can be used as a preventable measure for them as well. And I've been telling a lot of my clients to use it for that purpose.
Good point. Very good
Mm-hmm.
point. And I can't remember, did we talk about what on that third case study, how she's feeling? I know we did on the first two, but did we
Yes.
talk about how
Oh
she's
my
feeling
God.
on the
Now
third?
with her, she was definitely affected by her hair loss emotionally, because of the fact that she's always had long, thick, beautiful, healthy hair. So it definitely took a toll on her emotionally, because she was losing her hair, and it happened pretty rapidly, and nothing she was trying was helping. Even after she stabilized her iron levels, her hair just was never the same. But now that she has been using the protocol, she's noticed a whole head of healthy hair. So being able to bring back the nutrients to her scalp has definitely helped her hair thrive as well. So yes, she's feeling a lot better. But in the beginning, she was like just devastated, you know what I mean? And not really finding any clear answers or any clear solutions on how to fix it. Even after fixing the iron levels, she was noticing that her hair was still very thin. She wasn't very happy with it. But now that we're using this protocol and have been doing it consistently for some time, she's definitely more at peace and happier, which helps her have healthier hair as well. Because we're reducing the stress, right? Because stress, it affects how you feel about your hair, and you worry about your hair. So you're going to be depressed about it. That's going to make your hair fall more. So whatever we can to do to alleviate stress is very important in helping the hair thrive as well. And I don't think people realize that, you know?
Yeah, I like how you're describing. It's either a
Yeah.
downward cycle, right?
Yeah.
Because I see my
Hmm.
scalp, I see my hair, I'm
I'm
upset.
stressed
Being
about it.
upset creates
Mhm.
more stress, which creates more hair
Yes.
loss, more
Yes.
anemic conditions. Or
Hmm.
I'm seeing things starting to turn around and
Right.
improve, and I'm
Right.
feeling
And then I'm
better about
happier.
myself,
Right. Exactly. And
and that
that
helps
also
with the
improves
healing.
the hair. Exactly. Yep.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
do you ever, for clients that are, you can see stress as a factor for them,
Hmm.
what do you do anything as it relates to how to work with that stress, like recommending meditations or
Yes.
affirmations or how
Yes,
they focus? I
definitely.
mean, do you kind of get to that dimension as well?
Yes, we do. We do help clients with that. But I also find that clients who are stressed about their hair do really well by coming in more often. Because you find that a lot of clients who are stressed about their hair don't even want to come in for a hair appointment, because they're
Hmm.
so stressed out about their hair. Sometimes they don't even want anybody to touch it. They don't want to wash it. They don't want to comb it. They're like, I don't even want to do anything that's going to cause more hair to fall. I don't want to see any more shedding. So if I just leave it alone and I don't touch it, if I just avoid it, it's going to just maybe go away or get better. So just encouraging people that self-care is important. So that could be massaging, that could be coming in on a regular basis to get your hair done, and
Hmm.
admitting that, you have a problem, your hair is falling, and you need to do these things, you need to do these steps to get your hair back under control, or to get the shedding under control, or the hair loss under control. So I think it's important for people to like create some type of like routine, and doing that routine helps them see results, and then they're happier overall. So that's how I kind of like deal with it. I just create like a routine for my clients where I'm like, well, you have to come in more often. I have to help you. We have to work on this problem that you're dealing with. And it may take some time. It may take 6 months. It may take a year. But over time, you're going to see, your hair thrive again. But you just have to like give it time. You know what I mean? So just encouraging people to create some kind of like self-care routine. And maybe it's not doing your hair, but whatever it is that you could do to make you feel good, make you feel better, whoever you need to speak to, there are professionals that you could speak to, therapists, different doctors that you can speak to. Just create that routine so that you feel better. So just encouraging people to do those things.
I like
If
that.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
So more frequent visits. You also made another comment that I want to bring up,
Mm-hmm.
which is it took a long time typically for that hair to get to where it is. And you've got this established downward spiral going on.
Mm-hmm.
So to correct that and get that back into a positive direction, it takes a while. Like that's where you said it's a year, it's two
Yeah.
years,
Yeah.
because you're both eliminating the problem that was causing the issue, and you're
Right.
also now moving on from hair shedding to thickening the hair
Yeah.
shaft to
Exactly.
the new growth
Right.
being healthy growth, the terminal hair growth that you
Yeah.
talked about.
Right.
So
Yes.
and that takes a while. It takes a
Right.
commitment.
Takes time. Yeah. And then there may be some other things going on. There may be some medications that you're taking, or that you used to take, that, or that you're still taking, that may be causing the problem. So we have to identify all of those things, and then you have to consult with your doctor to make sure that there's some other medicines that you can, change, that you can change to. So those are all things that you have to take into consideration when dealing with hair loss. Really get to the core of it. And that also takes time, because you have to also explain these things to your doctor, and then your doctor has to be okay with it. So it's just a series of different things that have to take place to address the problem. And there's no one size fits all for everyone, but it's great that we have products on the market like the NeoGenesis hair thickening serum and other things that we can use just to kind of like, encourage more growth during that time, as much growth as possible during that time, and bring back nutrients during that time that you're, doing all these other things to get back to the road of recovery.
Well, we feel good to be a valuable part of your solution set.
Right.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but what we come back to all the time is go get with a professional
Right.
so that you can get a good diagnosis or a good understanding of what is going on with your hair, with your
Yeah.
scalp.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody that can help you to engineer a plan, put
Right.
together a plan.
Yes.
And so, from that standpoint, we've talked about this before, but for people that haven't heard,
Mm-hmm.
can you do these kinds of consults by telephone or video conference with
Yeah.
pictures, or do you need
Mm-hmm.
people to come into your physical space where you can see their scalp directly?
I can do both. So I can definitely do virtual consultations as well as in-person consultations. That's not a problem. And it will require you sending me some images, and then we can set up like a Zoom call if we're going to do virtual, and that's the way that I will be able to consult with you. But yeah, that's not a problem at all. Technology allows us to consult virtually, so it's not a problem. I'll be
Awesome.
happy to help with that. Yes.
And are there targeted demographics or people that you want to work with, or would you work with anybody no matter what the ethnic background is, what
Yes.
the physical location is?
Yes, I've worked with multiple different types of people, multiple cultures of people, multiple races. So that's not a problem. I have but predominantly I do work with African American or Black women, I should say, not African American only, but Black women, because that's basically who I service when I do hairstyles, right? So Black women usually tend to feel more comfortable coming to a Black person when it comes to things of their hair, their skin, just because, that person understands it because we have the same type of skin. You know what I mean? So it's just easier that way for them. They just kind of like, it flows better that way. So, but I'm open to working with anyone. It doesn't matter, but predominantly, yes, that's who I serve. And one of the reasons why I serve mostly Black women is because of the fact that it is a group of people. We are a group of people that are very underserved in the medical, arena, especially with hair loss. Hair loss is one of those where we're definitely underserved. And there's a lot of research that still needs to be done to find out why we deal with specific types of hair loss, such as a cicatricial alopecias, commonly CCCA, which has affected a lot of Black women. It's very common in the Black community, the Black women, and I'm also seeing a lot of Black men and some children with this condition. So definitely I serve that community because it is underserved, just trying to make sure that I point them in the right direction on the treatments that are available, and that early detection is key. Because a lot of people feel like they can buy like an oil, or they can buy some product online to help the problem, and when they do that, they do themselves a disservice, because the earlier you catch that type of hair loss, it's better for you. If you wait too long and you prolong it trying to do different DIY treatments, you run the risk of losing a lot of hair permanently, and you can't reverse it. So that's the reason why I strongly try to serve my community in that area, is because I know that it's detrimental to their hair follicles. The earlier they catch it, the better. Also, what they can do to prevent that type of hair loss, because there are some things that we can do to prevent it. So just educating them on, scalp health. And again, going back to traction alopecia, limiting those types of hairstyles that cause traction alopecia, because traction alopecia or traction can lead to CCCA. And again, that's another example of how you can have two different types of hair loss on your scalp, because you can start off with just traction by having braids done constantly. It causes traction alopecia. And then over time, you end up with a more severe type of alopecia, which is the CCCA. And many women, many Black women who wear a lot of braids and extensions end up with CCCA. And part of it is the type of hairstyles that we choose to wear, right? Also relaxers. Relaxers are very heavily related to CCCA, because relaxers can cause burns on the skin, right? So when they cause those burns on the skin over time, if you're getting your hair relaxed every 6 weeks, every 8 weeks, and you get burns on your scalp over time, that's going to turn into a scar, right? And that's going to lead to CCCA. So just educating women on these types of problems and what we can do to reduce them as much as possible in the salon is very helpful in addressing or preventing CCCA. So that's basically what I try to do as much as possible.
That's good. Yeah. I'm glad that you're talking about this, and I'm glad that you're saying early detection of any kind of hair loss, because first of all, you don't know what kind of hair loss you've got going on, right?
Right, exactly. Yes.
And if it's something like CCCA, that could
Yes.
be permanent hair loss that could have been controlled.
Yes, control, right.
Which,
Or if you
then
catch
we
it,
tend to,
sometimes if you catch it very early, you can stop it. But it really it depends. It has to be very early and very small, a very small spot. I've known some clients who have detected it early enough where they don't have that problem anymore, right? But again, early detection. Someone has to be looking for it, or someone has to notice it. So that means that we need more trichologists, right? We need more trichologists that are able to pick up on these conditions when they see it in the salon, and they're able to tell their client, hey, I see this spot. You need to go get this checked out, so that it doesn't turn into something later on. So yeah, being a trichologist has helped me tremendously help other people. So that's why I do it.
And you do love to help other people. I've seen that these last 6 months.
Yep. So yeah, should we listen to the testimonials now?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, let's go.
This is like a very amazing product, I must say. Yeah, I definitely, I mean, the back is definitely growing in a lot. Yeah, no, it's really good. It's really a good product. My crown is growing in a lot, the sides. Yeah, no, it's a really good product. I'm pleased.
Yes. So if we could go back to her slide where we show the back of her head, it would be great, just so I could give some insight on that one. But yeah, she was very happy with her results so far. Are we able to show that black slide again? I'm not sure. Right. So if we look at day 0, and day 0, she did have braids, but also too, that area of her scalp is the very bottom of the scalp. And she'd been having problems growing in that hair in that area for a long time. I would say a couple of years. And then if you look at day 60, you can kind of see, even though the hair is flat ironed out, it's a lot longer than it was prior to her using the serum, the treatment protocol that I recommended. Now, if you look at 6 months, she's able to have all of this new growth hair. You can see all of this new growth is actually completely transitioned from day 0 to day 6. So she's very happy with the results in the back of her head. And again, that goes back to those sluggish hair follicles that are there. They're active, right? They're active, but they're just, for whatever reason, they're kind of sluggish. So definitely using the serum has helped to just wake those follicles up and grow more hair in that area.
Fantastic.
So yes. So we can go to case study 2 now. We'll listen to case study 2 now.
But as far as the growth and the parts that seem to have been losing hair, those areas were filled in, and all around my hair is healthy. I'm happy. I'm thankful for you guys for developing this, but I'm happy for my growth. Yes.
Yeah, so definitely Michelle's very happy. And we were able to even have Michelle wear her hair down. That was something that she hadn't done in a long time. She never wanted to wear her hair down or out. She would always pull it up into a ponytail because she just wasn't happy with the fullness or the density or just the health of it overall. So now that she has more fullness and it's growing in some, she definitely just wears her hair down and she's a lot happier. She's more confident. So definitely that was a plus for her to be able to wear her hair down, and her friends are noticing a difference in her hair. So she's very excited, very happy.
Was she the case study where she was putting another product in her hair to fill in her hair and
yes,
no longer needs to do that?
Yes, she's no longer needs to do that anymore. That's another plus for her. She doesn't need to use the hair fibers anymore to cover in those spots in the front. So that's also been a benefit for her. And just that, she notices the results for herself. I didn't have to tell her or show her. She's able to notice her hair is just different overall. And that's also great when the client can notice it for themselves without me having to tell them, oh, look what I see. You have growth. You know what I mean? When they're able to see the results for themselves, it makes a bigger impact.
So true. So true.
Yes. So now we'll listen to the last case study. Case study is this? Yeah, number 3.
I came in with hope, of course, and expectations, but I'm really pleased, really pleased. I mean, my bathroom floor, I would run my hand through my hair, it would be like a carpet, brushes like a carpet on the floor. It fell on my body. I mean, I look like a different kind of mammal. I'm grateful to be a part of the study, I mean, not just for personal reasons, but to help others when they see the results,
Yeah, so that goes back to what I was saying before about this client. She was just very devastated that her hair was shedding so much and nothing she was doing was helping. One component was the iron, right? The iron deficiency. But after she corrected that, the hair did stop falling, but it just wasn't its healthiest, right? It still was just thin. It wasn't as full, as long. And now that she has saw that decline, and now that she has seen that her hair is as healthy as it used to be, she's a lot happier. And she mentioned that, she doesn't see that shedding on the floor anymore, and her hair is just a lot more fuller. And I think you guys actually gave her a compliment a couple of times when you saw her in the case studies and you were saying, wow, your hair looks so great. It looks amazing. You know what I mean? So she definitely was happy for those compliments as well. So yeah, she's been getting stopped on the street and people have just been noticing or telling her, complimenting her on her hair. So it definitely helps her. Yes, helps her confidence a lot.
This has been fun, Sophia.
Yes, it has been a lot of fun. Thank you for having me. And I'm eager to show other case studies in the future that we'll be doing, particularly with CCCA again, because that's like one of my passions. That I'm very passionate about CCCA. And although it's a very hard hair loss to treat, I'm just eager to see what we can accomplish, what we can do with the protocol using the NeoGenesis hair thickening serum. So I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, more to follow. I'm excited for more people to know that you exist and for people to
Yes.
be able to connect with you, to
Mhm.
get both the inspiration that
Right.
you can help them with their hair and you can help them
Right.
with their self-image,
Yes.
and then the plan to help
Yes.
them, having the
Yeah.
right plan based on the circumstances that you can see are going on for them.
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah, and I do just want to mention we've had a team of people that have backed you and I up as we've been going on
Yes.
this journey together with these case studies. We've got a wonderful team of people that are doing the video work for us, and then
Yep.
we've had a wonderful project manager, Mackenzie Grigware, that
Yeah.
she's behind the scenes, a little bit shy, but does amazing
She's
work to bring
there.
it all together.
Yep. And scheduling all our appointments, which is not easy because everybody's schedule is so different. So thank you. Yes. And just everyone who has helped make this a success behind the scenes. We definitely appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
More to follow.
Yes.
Oh, and by the way, we're going to do at 9-month and 12-month. We're going to take a
Yeah.
look. So we were looking every other month. Now we're going to drop back to every third month. And
Right. Yes, we are. And yeah, our clients are eager to stay in the study and participate still. And they are not letting go of NeoGenesis anytime soon. So yeah, we'll be back.
so
So
you
stay
guys
tuned.
reach out to Sophia so that
Yeah.
she can help you. You deserve it. She's
Yes.
the right person to help you on these situations. And we're excited to be there as a part of her team for you.
Yes, thank you so much. If you guys need me, you can contact me by going to crownworthy.com. You can make an appointment there. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks,
Yes,
Sophia.
thank you. All right, I'll
We'll be
see you
talking again
soon.
soon.
Yes, thank you so much. Bye.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye.